Hello and welcome to Byju's IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Before we start with our today's session, we have an announcement. Byju's IAS is conducting a free IAS workshop on how to master current affairs by Mukesh Jasa. It is scheduled to be conducted on 29th of August 2021. What is this session all about? Mukesh Jha sir will explain how to read the current affairs news, how is that you have to select an article from the newspaper, how issue has to be extracted from this newspaper article, and all important questions that you have about the UPSC civil service journey with reference to your current affairs preparation can be asked to Mukesh Jha sir and all your queries will be answered. How do you register? A link will be given in the description box. You have to go and follow the link and give your name and register so that you can ask all the questions related to the current affairs. Let's get started and look into the first question. Consider the following statements. 10-degree channel separates the Nicobar Islands from the Andaman Islands. Great Nicobar Biosphere Reserve is included in the list of Man and Biosphere Program of UNESCO. Which of the above statements is or correct? The answer to this is both. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article here makes a mention of Great Nicobar Biosphere Reserve. So when we look into this Great Nicobar Biosphere Reserve, it has two important national parks under it. One, it includes Galatea National Park. The other is the Campbell Bay National Park. Since this region is a tropical wet evergreen forest, it is a host to a number of animal species as well as the medicinal plants. Back in the year 2013, the Great Nicobar Biosphere Reserve was included in the Man and the Biosphere program of the UNESCO. Basically, this was included to promote the sustainable development on the basis of local support and sound science in this particular region. Apart from this, when you look into this particular region of Great Nicobar Biosphere, it hosts two important tribes. One happens to be the Mongoloid Shompen tribe. The other is the Mongolon tribe called as the Nicobaris. When it comes to the Mongoloid Shompen tribe, there are about 200 people in number. They live in this biosphere reserve. They live along the rivers and the streams. They basically are the hunters and the food gatherers. So this particular tribe can be important from the preliminary examination point of view. Now this article says India has added about 557 new species to its fauna, which includes 407 new species and 150 new record reveals the Animal Discoveries 2020, which is a document released by the Zoological Survey of India. So remember, this article has given some of the important species could also be prospectively asked in the preliminary examination. We have Trimecerus salicer, which happens to be a green pit viper, which was discovered in Arunachal Pradesh. Then we have Lycodon deccanensis, which is the Deccan wolf snake discovered in Karnataka. Then we have Spharothi Bengaluru, a burrowing frog named after the city of Bengaluru. Then we have Xyreus angeli, a deep water species of snake eel from Kerala. Glyoptorus iderkenasis, a species of catfish from Manipur. Clister galateasis, a species of cramble beetle from the Great Nicobar Biosphere. Do remember these names and where they are present. So if it is asked in the preliminary examination, you would be in a position to answer them. Now let's look into the next practice question. The Battle of Jamret was fought between British Empire against the Kaunbong dynasty, Timurids under Babur and the Afghans under Ibrahim Lodi, Gorkhali army of the Kingdom of Nepal and the British forces of the East India Company, Emirate of Afghanistan and the Sikh Empire. Which of the statement best describes what is this Battle of Jamrud? The answer to this is it is Emirate of Afghanistan and the Sikh Empire. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article here makes a mention of Hari Singh Nalwa. Who is Hari Singh Nalwa ji? He happened to be the commander-in-chief of the Sikh Khalsa Fauj. He was one of the most trusted commander of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, and it is under his commandership the Afghans were prevented from entering India during those periods. So what exactly happens? During those periods, whenever you have a foreign ruler or Afghan or any other king, they had to enter via the Khyber Pass. It was under the commandership of Hari Singh Nalwaji that we were able to prevent the Afghans and other soldiers from entering Punjab through the Khyber Pass. Under the commandership of Hari Singh Nalwaji, we fought three battles. One is the Battle of Kasur, second is the Battle of Attock, and final battle is the Battle of Jamrud. In the year 1807, he participated in the Battle of Kasur, where he was able to defeat Afghani ruler Kutubuddin Khan. In the Battle of Cuttack that happened in the year 1813, he along with his other commanders won against Azim Khan and his brother Dost Muhammad Khan. And finally, he lost his life during the Battle of Jamrud. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this article. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statements. Upstream oil and gas industry includes the searching for the potential underground or underwater crude oil and the natural gas fields. Companies that handle operations in the upstream oil and gas sector are closest to the customers. Which of the above statements is or correct? The answer to this is one only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article here in the PIB makes a mention of upstream oil and gas sector. First, let us understand what is the difference between the upstream, midstream and the downstream sector. When it comes to the upstream sector, what do the companies do? They explore the oil and also produce it. So it is the first source of the supply chain management when it comes to the oil sector. Then in the midstream, the oil that is explored, that is produced, is sent to the transport and the storage sector, and this is processed as well. And finally, in the downstream sector, the product is prepared for the usage and is ultimately delivered to the customers in a particular country. So what happens in an upstream sector? You identify where there is petrol or the oil. Then in this particular sector, you also go about producing it. So when it comes to the first statement, the upstream oil and gas industry, yes, it includes searching for the potential underground or the underwater crude oil and the natural gas fields. This is the right statement. And the second statement is wrong, because companies that handle operations in the downstream, not the upstream, but downstream sector, are closest to the customers. So if you look into this image, you have the downstream sector. They are the ones who are involved in the distribution and marketing at the retail level. They are the ones who are close to the customers, and it is not the upstream sector. So the answer to this question would be one only. Now let's look into the next practice question. A black hole is a body in space which does not allow any radiation to come out. This is due to its large size, small size, low density, high density. The answer to this is high density. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article here makes a mention of the black holes. What is a black hole? A black hole is an extremely dense object that we see in the space where no light can escape from it. Why? Because it is highly dense, and at the same time, a black hole's gravity is so powerful that it will be able to pull in nearby material and even eat it as well. Such is the description given by NASA. So supermassive black holes are difficult to detect. That is because they do not emit any type of light. Since they do not emit any light, which is why they are difficult to detect, but they can reveal their presence. How? Because they are able to interact with the surrounding atmosphere. So basically, we have the supermassive black holes which are difficult to detect because they do not emit any light, but they can reveal their presence by interacting with the surroundings when the dust and gas from the surroundings fall onto a massive black hole. Some of the mass is swallowed by this black hole, but some of it is converted into energy emitted as electromagnetic radiation that makes the black hole appear very luminous. That is how the scientific community is able to identify them, and that is how they are able to see that there is a presence of a black hole. Now let's look into the next practice question. With reference to balance of payments, which of the following constitute the current account? Balance of trade, foreign assets, balance of invisibles, special drawing rights. Select the correct answer using the code given below. The answer to this is 1 and 3 only. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2014. When it comes to the current account, what does the current account include? It includes exports, imports, trade balance, invisibles. Invisibles include services, transfers as well as income. So when it comes to the current account, what we have is the trade balance and the invisibles. So the answer to this would be 1 and 3 only. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is Islamic State of Khorasan province. Why are we discussing this? That is because it is this organization that has recently claimed the responsibility for the deadly attack outside the Kabul airport. So this ISKP happens to be an offshoot of the ISIS. So we have the original organization ISIS, which wanted to establish the Islamic Caliphate. An offshoot of this is an organization called as the Islamic State of Khorasan province. What is this Khorasan? Khorasan is an historical region. It includes parts of Turkmenistan, parts of Iran, Afghanistan, and to a limited part Pakistan as well. So according to an ancient caliphate, when these regions from Afghanistan, Iran, Pakistan and Turkmenistan are joined together, that is what is called as the Khorasan. So basically the Islamic State of Khorasan province wants to establish the Islamic Caliphate in this region of Khorasan, which is why they are called as Islamic State of Khorasan province. When was this group formed? This group was formed in the year 2014. How was it formed? You had radical people from multiple organizations. Let's say for example the Pakistan Taliban, or the Taliban which is operating in Afghanistan, or many other fighters who are present in Afghanistan. The breakaway section of all these radical organizations came out of this organization, and ultimately they formed the Islamic State of Khorasan province. So it recruits people from the Afghan Taliban, Pakistani nationals, basically the defecting members of the Afghan Taliban who do not see the Taliban as an extreme organization not fighting for the Islamic Caliphate. Such people have moved away from this organization and they have established this Islamic State of Khorasan province, where they pledge their allegiance to the late ISIS leader Abul Bakhta al-Baghdadi. So ISKP has strong roots in the northeastern Afghanistan. It also has sleeper cells in Kabul as well, and it also has people operating for it in other provinces. What are the differences between the Islamic State of Khorasan province and the Taliban? When you look into Taliban, it operates only in Afghanistan. It does not have any idea of expanding its horizons in other countries. But when it comes to the Islamic State of Khorasan province, it does not want to restrict only to Afghanistan, but also wants to operate in other regions of Turkmenistan, Iran, Afghanistan and Pakistan as well. So Taliban is restricted to Afghanistan, but the Islamic State of Khorasan province also wants to operate in other regions as well. It also wants to carry out attacks on the Western, international and humanitarian targets, which is not the ideology of Taliban. So Taliban wants to operate only in Afghanistan, but this particular organization, an extremist group, a fundamentalist group, wants to operate in other countries as well as carry out deadly attack to establish Islamic Caliphate. When it comes to Taliban, they are basically a tribal group, nationalist militant force which is backed by Pakistan, whereas the ISKP does not believe in the national borders and stands for a global Islamic Caliphate. What are the concerns about this organization? Taliban is currently ruling Afghanistan. People are not happy with its rule because all their rights will be taken away. So people are leaving Afghanistan and seeking shelter in multiple countries. Now we have a new radical organization in the form of ISKP. So there is a clash between ISKP and Taliban. There will be more bloodshed in this particular region. Peace and tranquility will not be established at all, and more people tend to lose their lives, and all the liberty that they had got during the past 20 years will be completely taken away. And at the same time, in what could be a surprising move, Taliban, which is itself a terrorist organization, has condemned the Kabul blast and says that they would bring these culprits into the justice. So one terrorist organization is opposing another terrorist organization, and that seems to paint a grim picture of what is happening in Afghanistan. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this article. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.